Welcome to the nominations of Majora's Mask. Of course, we're going to do 4 awards, and each of them you guys get to vote on which one is your favorite out of all these categories. So, of course, the first award goes to, or rather, the nominations for this award is Best Mask Ever. So, we're going to do Best Mask. Of course, there's all these 24 masks, I believe. And these are all the masks right here. I'm just gonna put them all because there's just so many to say. Whether it is the Postman's Hat, the All Night Mask, and such like that. Of course, there's gonna be some masks that I'm not gonna say right away. Like there's one mask in particular I haven't shown off yet, but of course we're gonna take care of that in the bonus episode. Maybe I already done it. Maybe you're watching Instant Future just to see how I done my V.U.Rs in the past or something like that. I don't know. But of course, all these masks, choose your favorite, whether it's design-wise, whether it is what they do, or whether it's how you get them. Put them in the comments below, or personal message me, or just do something with your social media. And there we go. The second nomination goes to Best Mini Boss. Of course, these mini bosses sometimes are more standoutish than just the main bosses in the game. Of course, there are like 8 mini bosses, I believe. The first mini boss is, of course, Dinofos. Second is Geico. I'm just kidding, it's Gecko. Third mini boss, of course, is Wizrobe, where you fight him a couple times. Fourth mini boss is Wart. Fifth mini boss is, of course, Garo's Master. The sixth mini boss is Gomez. And there might be some other mini bosses. I mean, technically speaking, Iron Knuckles also classifies as a mini boss. You know, when you're fighting Gecko, it makes sense. He's a frog that is like the demon form. I almost said formation. The demon spawn of the frogs in the frog choir and such like that. There's a couple frogs that you just find out there, like in the laundry pool or in the swamp area. But you do fight him again, and he's a lot harder. Whether it's like he's fighting with the Snap Snap, or just fighting by himself, or fighting with that sludge like wart thing. He can either be really easy or really hard, and that's why people might like him. Other than that, Dinofos, he's probably the more basic one. I remember in Ocarina of Time playing that game, there's the Lizard Foes, and I kind of consider them kind of hardish. And Dinofos, not as, I don't know, something about Dinofos, like speedrunning the game of Majora's Mask, it seems like Dinofos isn't that hard at all, because you could literally keep slashing and he could die really easily, just like how I did it towards the end of the game. And I think, yeah, pretty much when I get my last final heart containers, I see them again and I just keep on slashing and they just die in like 3 hits. Probably because my sword is upgraded and such like that, but I still like Dinofos nonetheless, just because of its weapon is holding. It's supposed to be like a reptilian swordsman. It's really cool. Wizrobe, personally, I don't really like, but you might like it because he's just one of those iconic Zelda characters, as in every single game. Whether he's kind of like a bird type of thing, whether he's attacking toucans, or personally, me, I feel like it's just based on patterns and stuff like that. But like I said, you guys might like it. Don't do it based on my belief. Do it based on yours. It could be your favorite just because he's an iconic character, pretty much. And of course, Wart. Wart being one of the kind of Goma type of character in this game, having all these things protecting it. Similar, yeah, basically it is a Goma, except like more of a larva type of thing. And I like this boss battle just because when you're taking out these bubbles, and at some point when you hit it 3 times before you take out all the bubbles, it drops all of them, and then you try to hit them all at the same time, try to like, you're surrounded by these things, and you're just slashing left and you're slashing right, and you're surrounded, and it lags the game a little bit, but that's what I like about it. It just feels like you're overwhelmed by these things, and it just feels like 100 of these things are coming together and fighting you, and you're just like, ah. It's really fun, and I don't know, I really like it a lot. It's probably one of my favorite mini bosses to just, I don't know, once I hit him a third time and all those bubbles come off and they attack me all at the same time, I just really like it when the game lags. I don't know, something about that is awesome to me. Other than that, I guess the mini boss is rather easy once you've taken care of all the bubbles, because you're supposed to hit him in the eye 3 times, similar to like every Zelda game. Of course, you know, whenever some character's a Cyclops, hit him in the eye always works. Garo's Master is one of those characters that feels like it has a backstory to it. It wasn't really explained. Of course, it could be theorized, however, whether it's you know, something against the Sheikah, because it did say something about that in the Garo robe when you went to talk to. He tells you about all these paper things, or not paper things. You know what I'm talking about. Where he's discussing about how Egypto really works and his biology of it, and the Garo robe is right next to it. It's kind of interesting to theorize about that, but Garo robe, or Garo's Master, very interesting to fight him because he's a lot stronger. He's a master swordsman. He has flame swords, and as soon as he dies with honor, and he ends up killing himself instead of the opponent he's facing. Of course, he tells them by revealing his wisdom and telling them very helpful advice, and that's what his clan's about. Similar to what I feel like Sheikahs are very similar to this because they know about the Gossip Stones, they have the Eye of Truth. I feel like every Gossip Stone somewhere out there is a Sheikah that feels like his end is near or something like that. Gomez is one of my favorite mini bosses, personally. And you guys know how I feel about this thing. It's like the Grim Reaper, and it's like a character that's influenced another Gomez, I guess. It doesn't really say it's Gomez, but Grim Reaper type of thing in Twilight Princess in the one place. I think it's called Ancient Ruins or something like that. It's something like that. It's something to do in the Greater Desert or something like that. I really like this character. You have to hit him in the light green orb. It's made out of bats. It's really cool. I really like this character a lot. Design wise, fighting it. Of course, I remember backing up, he would like let his bats go, his keys, and they would come towards you and you would have to run away to it. I didn't get that chance to fight him that way, but either way, he's one of my favorite mini bosses personally. So choose your favorite mini boss. Of course, I was gonna go sit here and talk about all the masks that, you know, in the first nomination, but there's just so many account. Well, I mean, I don't have enough time, because if I talk about one, it's gonna be like a minute long, and there's like 20 of them, so I can't really sit here and talk about all of them. The next nomination goes to Best Temple. Now, when it comes to temples, just think about the temples themselves, whether it's because of their puzzle, the design-wise, or how you proceed through this temple, whether you like fighting everything, is up to you guys, or how well hidden stuff are, or maybe just because of the story behind it. Of course, there's Woodfall Temple, there's Snowhead Temple, there's Great Bay Temple, and of course there is Stone Tower Temple. For Woodfall Temple, you need to access it with Deku Scrub Link, where he plays the Sonata of Awakening after you get that, by helping the monkey and trying to see what the truth behind this Woodfall Temple really is, because there's swamp invested on everything, and there's the venom-blooded Bugmaster Alderwall behind all this. But of course, this isn't about Alderwall. And yeah, there's of course the two mini bosses like I already mentioned about Dinophos and Gecko. So don't do it because about the main boss. Do it go around that decision. Choose what's your favorite temple. Of course, Snowhead Temple is one of my favorite temples to do because I like rolling a lot. I don't know about Darmani and stuff like that. It's very fun to maneuver around, and it's just really fun to me. I don't know, and I like using the center pillar and knocking down them and moving around the areas. I don't know, I really like this, and not just because of the main boss. I just like the temple in general. I also like the Great Bay Temple for what it is. It feels like a lot of people have trouble with this temple just because they think it's complicated, but you just look through the pipes, see what they're connected. If you see there's running water through this pipe and there's none in the other side of it, then most likely you're supposed to go there, and that's just when it comes to common sense. I like this temple a lot. It's a close second. I definitely don't like the main boss though. Of course, the final temple is probably the most theorized Stone Tower temple. And in the Stone Tower temple is probably the most complicated one. Maybe you like complicated things. Maybe you like a challenge. And I don't know. This temple is tedious as heck. Getting all the straight fairies is problematic, but I like it because of the gauntlets of mini bosses. I like fighting Garo Master. It's kind of nice to fight Wizrobe for the final time. And Gonmess is there, so of course I like fighting the mini bosses. Other than that, they're really good puzzles when it comes to the mirror thing, or how to maneuver around the sun blocks and try to do the light arrows. A lot of things pertain to light, and I like that. But like I said, there's that tedious portion of it. It's kind of interesting to know about the backstory about how to get all these temples. I already explained about how to get to the Woodfall Temple, but for the Snowhead Temple, you know, you turn into Darmani, and you realize that the Goron Elder's son is crying, so you tell the Goron Elder when you discover him in an ice block. You tell him about it, and he teaches you this song. He doesn't remember what the song is, or what the song is even called. So it's just called Goron's Intro, or something like that. You take it to the son, and of course he recognizes the music, and that his father is still out there waiting for him, and he feels like he's right beside him. And it's called the Goron's Lullaby, and when you use the Goron's Lullaby, of course you find that a giant Goron is possessed, and to get past him, you just put him to sleep with the Goron's Lullaby, and he actually falls over. He's okay, he's not dead, and then you're able to access the Snowhead Temple. And this is the story of how Darmani died. Of course, Darmani died because of a mysterious blizzard that made no sense to him and created a scar, and he ended up dying because of it. Well, not because of the scar, but like, he ended up dying because of the blizzard and the possessed Goron that killed him. As for the Great Bay Temple, of course, how to get there, you have to go get all the missing eggs together. Lulu lost her voice because of it. All these eggs are stolen by Pirate's Fortress, except not exactly, because as soon as you reach the Pirate's Fortress, you realize that they drop some eggs. They drop some eggs by Pinnacle Rock. I don't even know how they get past it. They could have just went straight, but I guess not. They drop some eggs, and after you obtain the eggs at Pirate's Fortress and try to obtain the eggs in the Pinnacle Rock before the sea snakes eat them, the eggs together, when you put in the Marine Research Lab to help them and get them all healthy, turns into a song, into the New Wave Bossa Nova. When you play the New Wave Bossa Nova to remind the connection between your mother and sons and daughters, Lulu gains her voice and brings upon the Guardian of the Sea, and the Sea Turtle gets you to Great Bay Temple. And I feel like it's very important to tell these backstories, even though it's obvious to people. I really feel good to just realize where they come from when it comes to this stuff. As for the Stone Tower Temple, you go to the Ikana Graveyard, and there's a lot of stuff you have to do on there. Whether it is learning the Song of Storms, because Flat feels like Sharp is now worshipping the devil. Once you play the Song of Storms on Sharp, he realizes his mistakes, and he says, now I'll let you go past and go meet with the king. Once you meet the king of Ikana, he presents you with the soldier with no heart. I don't know, something about the story, it makes sense when it comes to, when you really think about this part, where you put all these soldiers to rest because they're like serving their king, and they're serving Skullkita because they believe the army, or the war is still ongoing. And when the king knows that this is all over with, and of course his bodyguards realize that they're still trying to fight on for this thing, that finally the king of Ikana is put to rest as well, because he was also possessed. He was shrouded in darkness, and you play the Elegy of Emptiness to use this soldier with no heart to access the Stone Tower Temple. And it's very tedious to get up there, but once you get up there, you're able to access Stone Tower Temple. So, very long-winded, but those are the stories of all the temples. Now the final nomination is Best Main Boss. Now when it comes to Best Main Boss, of course I mean Alderwall, I mean Goat, I mean Georg, and I mean Twin Mold. Because I didn't want to do it based on what the temples are, because you might be thinking, oh well, I like it because Goat's in it, you know, well that's simple as heck. But truth be told, I do like the Snowhead Temple the best. As for Alderwall, he's a samurai, venom-blooded Bugmaster Alderwall, where he does like a spin attack. He's a master swordsman as well. He commands mobs and other bugs to do his bidding, and he can summon fire. And he's one of those jungle warriors that knows how to fight, and he possesses the giant of the south that represents the swamp. As for Goat, it kind of makes no sense to me if they are based upon the giant, because the giant's now on 4 legs. But Goat is interesting because he has the face of a human, but the rest of his body is a mechanical bull. The reason I like Goat the best is because I just like I said, I like rolling with Darmani, using the spike ball formation, just following after him and trying to take him down. And of course, once he gets down, you can just, you know, do all that type of stuff. And it's really, I don't know, I like that boss battle the best because you just maneuver and it feels like a race, but it's not a race. You're supposed to kill this guy, and it's really cool. The next boss is of course my least favorite boss, only because he seems like he's indestructible, and it's very annoying. It's very, very annoying because he just feels like his skin's made out of metal, and he's not affected by his moves, and he just eats you and he brings you back down. But don't, like I said, don't do it based on my decision, do it based on yours. You might like him because this is a challenge to you. You might like him because design wise, you might like him because this boss battle puts you to the limit where it's just a great boss battle. For any reason that you have, this also confuses me because maybe the giant's based upon a fish now. But of course, Goat's based upon the giant representing the north of the mountains, and Georg is based on the west representing the ocean. And then the final boss is of course Twin Mold. For whatever reason is split into 2, but you fight him, and you're able to fight him with the giant's mask. And very interesting enough, it makes the boss battle so much easier. But at the same time, you get to face these 2 things where you might like it because you might like just knowing the fact that this is the final boss battle before the main final battle. Of course, I'm not going to include the final battle. He's not an option for the main boss battles. But you might like him knowing that this is the last key. You might like him because of the giant mask. You know, you use the giant's mask because it's an option to you, and you could only use him in this boss battle, and you might like it because of that. Or you might also like it because of the boss battle. Or maybe there might be a personal backstory to it. Maybe because, I don't know, you might say, oh, I remember playing this with my sister, and she's like, yeah, do this thing, and I don't know, something like that. It might be closer to the truth than you think for some people. But other than that, choose your 4 favorites. Of course, I always do 4 awards. Vote in the comments, personal message me, or social mediaize it, or something like that. Whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, I guess, if you want to go that route, Google Plus, whatever it is, vote in the comments. What is your favorite mini boss, your favorite mask, your favorite temple, or favorite main boss? Vote in the comments below, and later we're gonna go put up the award show, the main award show for Majora's Mask. Join the White Tigers and Dragons, and White Tigers and Dragons to you.